Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I have got a get ready with me here for you guys today. This is the look I wore last night, actually not last night, Friday night, to a birthday party. Something quite subtle, nudie, glamorous, and yeah, if you would like to see how I got this makeup look and the jewelry and the dress that I wore, then please keep watching. So first, I have my hoodie on so I don't spill anything on my dress, but I'm going in with my Prima Armani Glow On Balm, and this is a really beautiful moisturizer. It's so it smells really nice, but it's so nice on the skin. And then for primer, I'm going in with the Marc Jacobs one, and this is really nice and hydrating. But then I did add a little bit of the smoothing primer by Makeup Forever into the areas where I just wanted to fill in my pores really slightly. I don't have too bad pores on my skin, but I find that this does kind of fill them up and gives a really nice base for my foundation. For my foundation, I'm taking my favorite kind of foundation combo. I'm taking a little bit of the Urban Decay All Nighter and the Armani Luminous Silk foundation, mix them both together on the back of my hand, and I'm applying it using a foundation brush all over my face. And then I do go over and blend everything away with my damp beauty blender, and this just takes away any excess and makes my skin look really skin-like, and it doesn't make it look really like heavy and caked on. Then I did apply some lip balm because I totally forgot to do this at the beginning. This is the Tatcha lip balm. It is by far my favorite lip balm. So for concealer, I used the Tatcha Creaseless concealer. I was in like two minds about this when I first tried it, but the more I've used it, the more I have fallen in love with it. It is very thick, so I only use it on kind of days and nights where I really want kind of full coverage. But I'm applying this to the usual areas that I like to highlight and conceal, and that's underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead and chin. And here I'm just blending everything in with my damp beauty blender as well, because again, it takes away all the excess and makes my skin look really skin-like. For cream contour, I'm using the iconic London cream contour kit and the darkest shade, and I'm first drawing all of the lines of contour onto my face, which again is the usual areas. And I did also slightly cream contour my nose as well. And then I did go ahead and blend all of those lines away with my damp beauty blender as well. On a bit of a side note, I do prefer blending out my cream contour with a brush in comparison to my beauty blender. Here I'm taking the CoverFX Enhancer Drops. I'm mixing two shades and I'm applying that to the high points of my cheeks. And now we're going to go ahead and set everything with powder because we've done all the cream products. I'm taking the banana shade from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm putting a really kind of like thin layer of this onto the areas where we applied the concealer. So that's going to set all of those areas in place. And then I took this shade right here, which is a very cool toned shade for contour, and I'm just applying that all over the areas where we cream contoured. I think I might have actually mixed another shade into that. I think it was the one next to it, but I'm just making sure my skin is looking nice and bronzed up. And I do have a little visitor staying with me for the next week. This is Silver. This is my cousin's kitty. She's so cute. She's been poorly over the past couple of weeks, but I am looking after her, and I thought I would show you guys what she looks like because she's so adorable. Here I'm taking a blush by Sephora, and it's called Shame on You. It's a really nice kind of mauvey kind of shade, which just looks really nice and natural on the cheek. So I applied that to the apples of my cheeks, and then I'm taking Charming Pink from Laura Geller and applying that as my highlight. And I wanted a bit of a kick of like oomph to my highlight, so I'm taking an eyeshadow by Stila. This is the shade Kitten. It is such a beautiful shade to add on top of a highlight, especially if you want it to pop. So I just added a real small amount of that onto the top points of my cheeks. And then I did take my Dewy Luminous Skin Mist from Tatcha and just spraying just the highlighted areas. Moving on to eyes, I used my Sephora waterproof eyeshadow stick. This is the shade which is closest to my skin tone. I'm not too sure of the color name, but I will leave all of it in the info box below. I like doing one eye at a time because it can dry quite quickly, so I'm doing each eye individually and then setting it with some of that same banana shade in the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm taking the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette and this shade right here, and I'm using that as my eyebrow highlight, and it was kind of like a very natural highlight. It wasn't as intense as I wanted it to be, so I did go back in with Charming Pink from Laura Geller and applied that on top just to kind of amp it up a little bit. This is the first time that I used the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I know it's had mixed reviews, especially the pressed pigments, because you have to apply them with your fingers, but all the matte shades that I used this time, I was very impressed with them. So I'm taking the shade Sandalwood and I'm applying that into the crease. I literally just tapped the brush in there, and they are very very, very powdery shadows, but they are super pigmented. You only need the slightest amount and they blend pretty well as well. I do just think that it is slightly expensive for what you get in the palette. Here I'm taking the shade Suede and applying that to the outer, like really small kind of third of my eye, like you can see here. And this is just going to add a little bit of shadow and depth to that part of the eye before we go in with the glitter. So just making sure that it's nice and blended. And then the glitter I decided to use, I've been eyeing this up for weeks now. This is the Stila Magnificent Metals. It's like a glittery eyeshadow. It's the rose gold one, and I'm applying that on to my remaining part of my eyelid, and I'm kind of doing a like really slight cut crease. I wouldn't say it's like a full-on cut crease, but I didn't go past my crease shade, the transition color that we've added in the crease. So just making sure that everything is looking nice and even on both eyes. And then I did go ahead and add a little bit more of that Suede shade into the outer corners to make sure that there's enough definition and depth going on. Otherwise it just looks really flat and it just looks like you've just put one shade onto the eyes. So I'm just making sure that it's deep enough as I wanted it to be. I didn't want it too smoky, so I'm just doing like the slightest amount. And then I took my L'Oreal Paris gel liner, which is basically just taking over my love for all my other gel pencil liners that I have. I'm lining my upper waterline, and this gel pencil is very pigmented, so you don't need a lot of product, and it does last for ages as well. Here I'm taking the Maybelline Master Ink eyeliner in the matte style. It's jet black and it's super matte, and I'm applying a kind of small winged eye, nothing too dramatic, nothing too thick. I wanted it to be thin enough to complement my eyes, and I will leave a link to my eyeliner routine or like my eyeliner tutorial in the info box below for you guys. But then what I wanted to do was really wanted to smoke it out, so I'm taking Black Truffle from the same Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette, and first I just like applied it on top of the eyeliner wing that we created, and then I also smudged it. So I really wanted it to look like it was a kind of like a smoky eyeliner, but nothing too crazy to make my eye look like I've just got a smoky eye on, if you know what I mean. So here I'm just doing the same thing to the other eye and making sure that both my eyes are looking as even as possible and as like similar as possible, and until I was kind of happy with the way it was looking. And then I moved on to mascara. I used my favorite mascara, which is the L'Oreal Paris False Lash Sculpt Mascara. I have actually had an LVL lash lift, which made my winged eyeliner quite difficult to do because my eyelashes are so like curled up. But when I put mascara on them, they look amazing. But it is quite difficult to put like falsies and things like that on top. So it's just an FYI if anyone is thinking about getting it done. But I'm taking that same Infallible gel liner and I am lining my lower waterline. And as you can see, the color just glides on so easily to your eyes. Here I'm taking the shade Cocoa from the same Huda Beauty palette, and I'm just smoking that out. And I don't mind if the brush kind of goes into the eyeliner because it just really helps smudge that out really nicely without it being too crazily intense. And now just applying some more of that same mascara onto my lower lashes to make sure my eyes are looking all even from the top and the bottom. I did apply some false lashes. I applied the Huda Beauty Samantha lashes, but I did them off camera because they were quite difficult to put on, especially with the lash lift. So here I'm taking Conspiracy Lip Liner by Urban Decay, and I am lining my lips and also slightly filling them in. And I am using two of my favorite lip, like just colors in general that I've been loving recently. I'm using Biscotti by Stila, and this is such a gorgeous taupey kind of cool brown tone. It's so beautiful. It actually looks really nice by itself, but I did add Namaste, which is this Tarte lip paint on top. This is a very gorgeous moussey formula. I absolutely love it. They have brought out new ones which are slightly more watery, which I don't really like that much in comparison to this formula. This one is definitely my favorite. Here I'm just adding some more eyeshadow to the areas and places that I felt like it kind of needed it, because when your makeup is all on, especially for me anyways, I kind of realized that there's some areas which need like toning up or toning down and things like that. So I'm just sorting my eyes out before setting my face. I went to town and I sprayed loads of sprays of the all-nighter setting spray onto my face because I wanted to lock all of my makeup in place, and I really wanted that dewy skin-like kind of look and effect to my face and skin. These earrings are from New Look. I love earrings and jewelry from New Look because it doesn't break the bank, and yeah, they were just really gorgeous. I'm loving also this Jo Malone perfume. It's Myrrh and Tonka, and if you like oud, you will be obsessed. But I did layer a little bit of the Layer perfume by Sephora. Actually, it's not by Sephora, it's from Sephora. But this, you guys, is the end of the makeup look, something very romantic. So if you've got any plans for Valentine's Day, this is, again, a really gorgeous look to wear for that. But yeah, I hope you liked this Get Ready With Me. A very glamorous look, but with a hint of glitter and a, you know, my kind of signature lip color. And then also my dress is from ASOS. It's a nude dress. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!